What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing. This is part 2 of the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series, where we take a look at African-American fighters that didn't get an opportunity to fight for the title due to the color of their skin and their tremendous boxing ability. I consider them the original murderous row. Let's take a look at their career. All right, after 950 boxing scrapbooks that I do currently own, this is number 425. I have 10 of these books. They're packed with black fighters. So let's take a look at these two, outstanding fighters that were cheated out of title shots. We got Tom Molyneux and Bill Richmond. So let's take a look first at Tom Molyneux's career. Tom Molyneux, born Georgetown, South Carolina, weighed 198 pounds, 5 foot 8.5 inches. Tom Molyneux, reared on a Virginia plantation, was the first colored fighter to create consternation among the British ring patrons, when at one time it seemed likely that he might be crowned heavyweight champion. Supplanting the famous Tom Cribb, Molyneux gained some repute as a boxer in America, but no record was ever kept on his contests here. He went to England in 1809 and fought Jack Burrows, the Bristol Unknown, on July 14, 1810, whipping him in a 30-minute. On August 21, 1810, Molyneux knocked out Tom Blanks in 8 rounds. Other battles were 1810, December 18th, beaten by Tom Cribb in 33 rounds at Cope Hill Common. May 21st, defeated Jim Rimming in 21 rounds. And September 28th, beaten by Tom Cribb 11 rounds at Thistleton. Molyneux's jaw was broken. It was a savage fight. This was in 1811. 1813, April 2nd, beat Jack Carter in 25 rounds. 1814, May 27th, won from Bill Fuller on alleged foul in 2 rounds, lasting 68 minutes at Parsley, Scotland. In 1815, March 10th, beaten by George Cooper in 14 rounds, Molyneux went downhill rapidly. After losing to Cooper, he drank heavily, was taken ill, died in the barracks rooms of the 77th Regiment of Infantry, stationed at Galway on August 4th, 1818, at the age of 34. Wow. See, Tom Molyneux, he had it rough, I'll tell you. That fight with Tom Cribb, everybody knows the story, where he went over there and he was putting hands on him. And basically, a foul was called, and, both men went down. In the process, Tom Molyneux broke his hand. But Tom Cribb's claims it was a foul. He acted like he was knocked out. And they basically gave him a lot of time to recuperate. They began to fight again. Tom Molyneux's hand was broken, so he couldn't really fight. And stopped Molyneux, and the fight was over. And as you look at the careers of the African-American fighters, you're going to find a lot of these things, especially in the early days of fisticuffs. So let's take a look at Bill Richmond's career. The Black Terror, born August 5th, 1763. Now, Richmond, Staten Island, New York. Weighed 175 pounds, height 5'9". General Earl Percy, one of the commanders of British forces then occupying New York, took Richmond to England in 1777. The colored man had frequently beaten English soldiers and his friends' amusement in New York and England. Percy pitted Richmond against George Moore, was knocked out in 25 minutes. 2 successful victims were Patty Green and Frank Myers. He also fought the following men: 1804, January 23rd, George Maddock, Wilmington Commons, KO by 3. 1805, May 21st, beat Jepseps in 6 rounds. July 8, beat Jack Holmes in 26 rounds by KO. October 8th, beaten by Tom Cribb in 1 hour and 30 minutes. 1809, April 14th, beat Jack Carter in 25 minutes. Beat Jack Arkinson in 20 minutes. July 11th, beat Ike Wood in 23 rounds. August 9th, won from George Maddock in 52 minutes in a terrific battle. Maddox was 54 years old and age beat him. That's what they say. 1810, May 1st, beat Young Powers in 15 minutes. 1814, April, beat Jack Davis in 13 rounds. 1815, August 11th, beat Tom Shelton in 23 rounds. At Monday, Hearst Richmond was 52 years old and retired. On November 12, 1818, Richmond had an impromptu battle with Jack Carter and beat him by KO in 3 rounds. Richmond died December 29th, 1829 at age 66. Here we have Tom Molyneux and Tom Cribb. Now the brother here with the yellow pants, that's Bill Richmond. Tom Molyneux going down, which I assume might have been a right hand from Tom Cribb. But these illustrations, you never know how the fight really went. But that's Tom Cribb standing over Tom Molyneux. So we have Tom Molyneux and Bill Richmond. Unfortunate situations for them. You know, they just didn't get the right opportunities in life. The famous battle between Molyneux and Cribb. Just scan it so y'all can take a look. Let's take a look at another fighter. Let's take a look at this next fighter. I think I showed you guys this once before. But this is Jack Blackburn. He's a famous trainer for Joe Louis. He was a welterweight. Actually, he was a lightweight. Went from lightweight to welterweight. We're going to take a look at his career. You're going to see why he was a really, really good fighter. Jack Blackburn, Charles Henry Blackburn, born 1883, Sales, Kentucky. I never heard of that town before. Weighed 133 to 135 pounds. That's lightweight. His height was 5 foot 10 inches. Nationality, American Negro. Previously to 1903, and these are all the fighters he fought. I'm just going to scroll down. All right, so in 1903, October 6th, Spike Sullivan. That was a draw, 6-round draw. October 13th, Eddie Kennedy. November 2nd, he fought Joe Gans in Philadelphia. December 23rd, Sam Langford. That was a 12-round draw. December 31st, Mike Twin Sullivan. Now, see, all of these guys that I just named were all champions at one time or another. Every last one of them. 15-round draw. 1904, January 2nd, Jim Gardner in Boston. That was a 12-round victory. January 20th, Dave Holly, Philadelphia. No decision, 6 rounds. March 25th, Joe Gans, Baltimore. Lost to 15 rounds. September 16th, Blink McCloskey, Philadelphia, no decision, 6 rounds. Now, December 1st, Joe Grimm. He was a rough fighter. He was a rough and dirty fighter. In Philadelphia, no decision, 6 rounds. 1905, January 12th, Joe Grimm once again in Philadelphia, no decision, 6 rounds. And we got Dave Holly, Kid Terry, Cy Flynn, Dick Fitzpatrick, Jack Williams, Sam Langford, Larry Temple, Sam Langford, Henry Center, Jack Williams, and Larry Temple. These are a lot of fights in 1 year. 1906, George Gunther, Jack Williams, Cleveland Hawkins, and Sammy Campbell. Most of these fights were draws or no decision fights. Move on to June 29th, Joe Gans, Philadelphia, no decision, 6 rounds. July 6th, George Gunther, Philadelphia, no decision. Dave Harley, it goes on and on. George Cole, all great fighters here. George Gunther, Fred Bradley, George Cole, Terry Martin, Billy Burke, Jimmy Barry, Mike Donovan, Harry Lewis, George Gunther. Just to go on and on and on. These are fighters. These were really, really good fighters. I studied all of these guys. These are really good fighters here. And, you got to look at these things. You have to consider these things when you look at fighters' careers. The fighters they fought, at the time they fought them, what condition were they in? What were they going through? And he caught them all in their prime. Gumbo Smith. That was a no decision draw, 6 rounds. So total bouts was 103. KOs 22. 1 by draw 15. 1 by foul 1. Got 12 decisions. Loss on a draw 1. Loss on a foul 0. KO by 2. No decisions 50. No contest 0. Amazing. But this was Jack Blackburn. Great, great fighter. Never got that opportunity. Now, when he fought Gans I think Gans was the only champion he faced at that time. Now, he faced about 6 champions, but I think at that time, Gans was the only champion he faced. Other than that, he never really got a title opportunity. Jack Blackburn. Just scan through his profile. He's trained by Joe Louis. He had to go to prison because he shot a man. He's talking a little greasy to him. Did a little bit of time. Came out and trained Joe Louis after his career was over. Great fighter. Look at all the great fighters he fought. We just went over them. Outstanding fighter. Outstanding. Let's move on. Next fighter, Harry Wills. They say the giant who might have killed Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey never gave him an opportunity to find out. So Harry Wills, his record was 64, 8-1, and 46 knockouts, with 23 no decisions and 3 no contests. He fought from 1910 to 1932. Titles held, none. He had the colored heavyweight championship. Took that back and forth from Sam Langford. Outstanding fighter. He was born New Orleans, Louisiana, May 15th, 1889. He was 6'4", weighed 220 pounds, managed by Jim Berkeley and Patty Mullins. 1910, he knocked out Kid Rivaro. 1911, knocked out Battling Taylor. 7th round. He defeated Nat Dewey. 10 rounds. But he fought them all. I went over his career yesterday when I was talking about Sam Langford, but I mean, this fighter here was just tremendous fighter. We got to pay homage to them. We got to pay homage to him. Let's take a look. Complete list of men elected in 1970. This is to the Boxing Hall of Fame. The pioneer group was Professor Mike Donovan. He was a middleweight champion. The old timers group was Kid Williams, who was a bantamweight champion, and Harry Wills, who never got an opportunity to fight for the title. Modern group was Max Schmeling, who was a heavyweight champion, Ezra Charles, also a heavyweight champion. So the only champion that's not that is here that wasn't champion, I should say, is Harry Wills. And this is him in his prime. We went over this yesterday. Just look in the other part 1 and you'll take a look at his fights with Sam Langford. But this is a great fighter. I mean, it's a shame these guys didn't get the title shots. Jack Dempsey just kept shooting down the offers. He refused to fight Harry Wills. Great fighter. So this is Scrapbook Boxing. Stay tuned to part 3 of this African American series. Peace.